So we just got done watching City of God yesterday, but
No, I really liked the movie. I thought the story was really engaging. There were definitely a lot of characters, and when you have that many characters, you can't go too into depth with sort of who they are. But I thought that, for the most part, especially with like a shifting timeline, they handled all the characters very expertly, like introducing them and seeing how they connect with each other. So
yeah,
I don't know if I'd call it an action movie, but it plays out like an action movie. There's an absurd amount of violence. I mean, probably warranted because it's about violence in the streets of Brazil, but the camera style and the way that it's edited together is just dizzying. The gunfights are unwatchable. There's so much going on at all times visually that it's overwhelming.
I feel like that adds to the chaos of the movie, what happens within the movie. I don't, I wasn't real. I never found there was never a scene where I had no idea what was going on. I always knew what was happening. It wasn't terribly difficult to follow. To be honest, I thought it was pretty easy to follow. There, and I thought the action scenes were pretty neat. I think the techniques used were justified.
I don't know. I will admit the action scenes are very chaotic. Personally, I thought that was supposed to. I don't know. I thought that was adding to what the movie was kind of about, which is about a young kid who's sort of like living in this. It's in a way taken to the extreme, but I don't know. Shaky cam, the shaky cam, I thought was sort of supposed to go along with like this amateurish. Yeah, I guess.
As it follows.
The motif of photography throughout the film. It follows a motif of photography throughout the film.
That was.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought that. While it was a little bit extreme, I thought that it was adding to it.
I think the biggest issue I had with this movie is the characters. I didn't feel allegiance or care at all about any of them. So when they died, I just sort of wanted to die. Cool. Nice. Lilza was the character that I had the most issue with because it just seemed to me to be very non-complex. I mean, you see him and he's basically just pure freaking evil. He just likes to kill people, and he kills a lot of people, and he kills people because he likes to kill people. And there's no other gear to his character. He's just insanely evil. And there's one scene in the club where you get this different glimpses of Lilza, where you get this bizarre scene where he gets so full of sexual angst he can't get a girl to dance with him at this thing. He gets so wired that he makes what ends up being knockout Ned strip for him at gunpoint and sort of humiliates him. And that's like the one time that you see his character have any insecurities or any hint of character beneath his surface violence. And it just then after that scene it goes back to he's pure evil and a bad person and
I don't agree. I don't think you're looking deep enough. I mean, yes, he loves to kill, but there's a reason for that, which is shown from the very beginning when he is following the trio. He wants to follow their footsteps as they're kind of heroes of the town. That's debatable.
But he outdoes the trio. I mean, the trio goes ahead and leaves people tied up in the motel, and he goes and kills everyone.
Well, as he's following the trio, he is bullied by one of them, and he feels a little like powerless, and he has this urge to want to be powerful. Even in the opening sequence when he's just playing with the other kids, he's like, give me the ball. He just has this need to be the most powerful, and that's what pushes him to kill, and when he's laughing after he kills somebody, he's just more maniacal and just like that he has the power of just ending someone's life. But that the sexual urges part comes when he makes Naka's head strip. That's because he feels powerless in like trying to get a girl. It's the one thing that he can't do anything about. So then he just goes on doing like tries to make up for that. And I think the transition from him being a kid to becoming needing to be like the ultimate.
In response to that, I would say there's a difference between showing his history and his motivations and then really showing. I mean, obviously, they tell you sort of where he comes from and that he has issues, but you don't. I didn't see it in his character. The way that his character acts, I didn't sense that. There was no, his character just seemed to me to be an antichrist for the sake of being an antichrist, and I would like to see more in the acting realm to sort of add more depth to his character.
He definitely seems to be like the stuff that he did stemmed out of madness more than like just any background. I thought. Throughout the movie, there's people saying like, all these young kids claiming to be men because they have killed or robbed. I don't know. It's definitely a different perception of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of themes of growing up in this movie, which are pretty interesting to see how these boys who are grown in this violent atmosphere grow up much differently and much faster than the society we live in. And thank goodness we don't live in that society because there's all these children running around who have all these concepts of just murdering people just to, I don't know, just for fun. And it's kind of scary when you see these infants, not infants, but these 8, 9, 10-year-olds are the ones that they're called terrorize an entire village. Final thought.
I really liked the film. I thought that it was more talking. I thought it was a film that was more about the city than the character, the place that this is all happening than the character. To pick out a certain scene that really exemplifies it. There's this one scene when main character Rocket enters the apartment, and it's the apartment of a friend of his, a drug dealer, and it sort of goes off on a tangent explaining the history of this particular building. And taken out of context, like that just that scene, that history of what's gone on here, I feel like that could perfectly capture all that this movie was about. From the original good intentions, a woman selling drugs to sort of raise her children, and how it's corrupted, and basically how the apartment passes through hands based on killing and arrests and everything.
Yeah, I think that is a big part of the film, but my favorite part was how these two children start out from very similar origins, and then they completely go off in two different directions. One dies a violent and terrible life, while the other is trying to make an honest living being a photographer. So I think it's nice how they parallel those two stories, but they use. I think where this movie goes wrong is where they use the photographer as the narrator and they too much, and they don't show much of his life. And he seems to be kind of in the middle of everything and not really a contributing character.
I think that this movie is basically an action flick with a glint of some deeper purpose that I just don't get. I mean, it's really just a whole bunch of violence from beginning to end with a bunch of characters who have vendettas against each other, and I couldn't get involved in the plot very much. It's a movie that was extremely distancing for me. I didn't really care that much about what was going on or with the characters or anything at all. I really felt distant from the movie and just sort of really things that happened with martial art. Didn't get caught up in it very much at all. But at least it's very cool.
Alright. Thanks for watching. Yay.